These watercolor paints can keep you stuck, sometimes even poor, but thankfully there's one color out there that can change that. In this video, I'm gonna show you what it is, why I call it invisible, and how it can make watercolor painting a lot easier. So why exactly is this color so much better than everything else? Once upon a time, when I started painting with watercolors, I wanted to buy all the colors available, but that was until I became more experienced and noticed a pattern. After a year of painting, I found I always used the same color everywhere and for everything, and it made my process and paint purchases a lot more simple. This is blue watercolor, cobalt blue actually. Blue is the color that I think many don't use to its full potential, and I'm gonna show you why. So you know, ultramarine blue, indigo, and other blues work as well, as long as they aren't too light and bright. And you may already know that with the primary colors, yellow, red, and blue, we can mix all the other colors and pretty much paint anything. In the painting I'm showcasing today, I went with a warm yellow, then quinacridone magenta, it's pinkish in looks, and it was perfect for my project. And finally, I picked the cobalt blue I showed you earlier. I wanted to create a late fall, early winter sunrise dreamy scene from this photo reference. That's why I decided to apply the magenta color first as some kind of a soft undertone for my background. Blue being such a great color, I used it to turn magenta into a beautiful violet. I wasn't even trying to match the sweater I was wearing, but that's exactly what happened. So far, nothing too surprising here about what we're able to get from mixing blue to another color. Blue and red or pink makes purple, blue and yellow makes green. And yet, it's important to point out that if the primaries are enough for painting, it's because you can't really do anything with them. Here, with blue, yellow, and red or magenta, I can paint any of the skin tones I wish, for example. You will notice when practicing color mixing that the final color you get is affected by two things. First, it changes with the paint ratios that you choose. For example, I could have made this more pinkish by adding more magenta, or more bluish by adding more blue. Then, it also changes depending on the two colors that you're using in the first place. For example, if I kept the cobalt blue and I used a red color instead of magenta, I'd get a different violet or purple, something close but different. And of course, it works not just for blue. In this painting, I kept going with another beautiful mix between my Indian yellow and quinacridone magenta, and I got something that looks like the color quinacridone gold. To add some depth to a painting after the initial layer, nothing beats blue. That's why I included it in the beautiful gold color, and that's how my original violet color turned brownish. Some would call that mud, and to me it's only mud if it's not intentional. Because this is one thing about blue that you want to be mindful of, but it also makes it so much more powerful, I find, when you know how to use it. I find that blue overpowers a lot of other colors, and that is especially true for yellow and magenta. Violet, made from mixing blue and magenta here, is also a complementary color to yellow if you check back on the color wheel. In a way, it's nice because this means the two of them will look great side by side, but when you're not careful, they will also make mud if you mix them together. The mud effect doesn't bother me at all, like I was saying, because I use it to serve my paintings. For example, it's great for natural browns, whether it is in a landscape or a portrait. But the huge plus of leveraging this power that blue has, especially for a beginner, is that it takes away from the overwhelm of having to juggle a bunch of different colors for one painting. And you will quickly learn not to overdo it with blue, even quicker than having to relearn a new color each time. For example, here, I was able to add even more depth to those branches, and blue helped me do that. It quickly turned the vibrant mix into a brownish, almost grayish one. Same with our violet color. I added more blue, and it turned almost like a mauve color. I applied this as a base layer to the street lamp, and so far you can see how invisible this color really is. I'm sure many have experienced the power of blue, so let me know in the comments below if that's your case. But that's not all. Blue isn't just great to mix new colors, because blue has even more power with one small tweak, and I'm going to show you my favorite hack next. If you need help practicing painting with blue, you can find a tutorial for this lamp painting on my Patreon in real time. I have over 40 watercolor and watercolor pencil tutorials for beginners and intermediate learners there. I'll add a link to Patreon in the description of the video. You can consider joining for a small monthly fee that you can cancel, upgrade, or downgrade at any time. Blue isn't just great for mixing a lot of other colors with the primaries, and that's why I find it so special next to yellow and red, and also why I use it all the time even though it's not my favorite color, and also why you won't always notice I've used it like it's the case here. As a beginner, I would have grabbed the colors brown or black or gray to place my shadows in this painting and make this lamp pop. That's not how I do it anymore, especially when I already needed blue earlier in the painting, like here, when I used it to mix a violet color. I already had it, so it totally made sense for me to leverage it 100%. And adding more is the key to do that. More blue, more pigment, less water. It's what I did to make the branches pop even more, but for the lamp, I had to go even darker to get the color from the reference photo. And this mix here kept changing as I was looking for an ideal ratio for what I wanted to achieve. I saw everything from a dark brown to a teal color to a very dark violet. Proof again that you don't necessarily need colors like brown, gray, or black either. It's your choice, and blue can make it a lot more simple, especially if you already needed it in your painting. Adding blue to create a shadow color has been extremely helpful in my own watercolor painting practice. I've even used it in combination to other dark colors, like brown, for a tree painting, for instance, to make that color look even darker. And while colors like green, purple, and even red can also help make a color appear darker, none of them are as versatile and strong as blue, at least in my experience. The funny thing I realized about this painting is that it resembles this one a lot. I painted that one with a light blue, pink, and brown color from a small 12-color set when I was a beginner, and I shared it here exactly 4 years ago. One of my best performing videos, actually. The irony is that back then, I was still a beginner and I didn't know I could use less colors thanks to blue. If you enjoyed this video, this one here will open up new doors to how to easily watercolor paint wonderful art from nothing at all. I hope my color hack and tips today will help you improve and maybe even save you a trip to the art store when those dark colors run out. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.